morning. Welcome to Channel 73, Tuckahoe's Government Access Channel. And I'm very pleased to have the Parker sisters with us. And I never remember names.
Betty, Parker, Foye.
Doris Bradstreet. Doris Parker Bradstreet.
Okay. And now, Doris, you're presently in...
I live in Raleigh, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. And...
We're in Elmira, New York in the summer and Deerfield Beach, Florida in the winter.
well, you're the traveling Parkers then.
Right.
And both of the ladies are here because they heard we were having Tuckahoe Day, and it's part of our centennial celebration. And we're very happy to have you here, but we're also disappointed that Tuckahoe Day was postponed to another day because of the inclement weather that's forecast.
We're glad to be here and we're happy to see you and some other friends we're going to meet.
Let's talk about Old Tuckahoe. Both of you ladies had gone to this school here,
No.
which is no?
Neither one of us.
No?
Our aunt taught here.
Oh, your aunt taught here.
Yeah.
And what school did you go to when you were here in Tuckahoe?
Tuckahoe High School, first grade to 12th.
Oh, okay. That's right. Most people don't realize that at one time the Tuckahoe High School was the school for all the different grades.
Well,
So both of you went to the grammar school at what is now Tuckahoe High School?
Yeah.
I started in Waverly School because there was no school for Tuckahoe kids that lived up where we lived.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked. It was quite a walk in the winter for little kids.
It sure
And
is.
then they built Tuckahoe High School, and we were still walkers, but much closer to home.
Well, Tuckahoe High School was built in 1930, so that makes you at least 39.
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about the Tuckahoe in those days. Any memories that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I'm 5 years older than my sister, and my
Me says 34.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
and my father was janitor in the Masonic Temple. That enabled them to get married because, therefore, if he had a job there as janitor, they had a rent. They had an apartment,
Okay.
and that was great. And my mother did the cleaning that wasn't too manual.
Now this is the basement apartment that's there now?
No, it was in the back to the left, on the same side as the school.
I see.
And there used to be a big rock in the back, and that
It's
was
still
right
there.
outside my bedroom window.
That big rock is still there.
And then we moved to Oak Street.
Uh-huh.
George Schmiedel's house at the end of Oak Street on the right-hand side.
Now this is the Schmiedel that was mayor at one time?
I believe George was mayor, yes. He was superintendent in the Sunday school. That's where I remember him.
And what year did you graduate from Tuckahoe High?
41.
That's just before the war then, huh?
Yes, it was a very, rather sad time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. As I often relate, I was in the old Lyric Theater when Pearl Harbor happened, and a lot of your class, well, your classmates, I guess you were class of 46?
Yes.
Joe Yancey among them.
Yes, that's
And
right.
Johnny Colonna, and a whole host of people that were there and heard the news from Mr. Lenhart.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your early memories here of the village of Tuckahoe?
Well, actually, I didn't spend too much time in the village of Tuckahoe. We were up near Concordia College there, and we had to walk to school.
Well, at that time, that was really a high school, wasn't it, Concordia?
That was a boys'
Oh, or junior
school or
college.
Junior
something.
college.
Yeah, yeah.
And when we lived on Stebbins Avenue, I was 5, and the law said that you should start school at 5. Well, there was no kindergarten, so my mother and some other mothers had children my age went to the Board of Education, and they decided they would take us in the first grade at 5. So that was my whole high school experience.
So you graduated at a young age then?
Oh, yes.
Well, that's great. Well,
I haven't gotten any older.
both of you actually came through the Depression, you more so than your sister. What were some of the things that stood out in your mind with the Depression?
Everybody seemed to be a social level. Everybody was on a par, and we were short of so many things, but you didn't complain because your mother made do with what you had. I still to this day do not like grape jelly or Spanish rice because
You had
that's
plenty
what
of it,
we
huh?
had.
Yeah, there were occasions when they were passing out sacks of beans and flour and rice, and I guess it got people through the very difficult times.
But people were willing to work to do anything to earn money to get food.
Hmm. What did you do when World War II started?
World War II started. I tried to get in the service
Hmm.
because I had graduated, and they wouldn't take me because of my glasses.
Uh-huh.
But my girlfriends did go in, and when we had Pearl Harbor Day, I think I was at Arthur Murray's. I was learning to dance in a hurry.
Oh, great. You worked the USOs?
No, we didn't. We didn't do that. I worked in the city, and by the time we got home, it was pretty late. And my father was kind of strict about us,
Hmm.
going out. Because being raised in the suburbs is quite different from being raised in the city, and the people I worked with had a lot more expertise in how you got along in the city, and my father thought it was much better to be home at night than out.
He was afraid of having you there in the city, huh?
Yeah, those kind of things, yes.
Well, what sort of work did you do after high school?
Well, I worked down in the city myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got married too young, and I moved quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Had 3 children, and I was so happy to find out that my class was going to have their 50th anniversary in 1996,
Uh-huh.
and it was great to be able to see my old classmates, especially Dottie Santucci Calabro and Joe Yancey and some of the others, and I'm so happy that I'm able to keep up with them and see them once in a while.
Oh, that's
Just
great. How often do you have a reunion?
Well, when we come through when we're going down back to Florida, we try to stop once a year, but I haven't been able to do that the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a wonderful opportunity, even though it isn't Tuckahoe Day. It's Tuckahoe Day to us to be here.
Well, did you get there for the last part of the Tuckahoe Road Challenge?
Yes, we did. We saw the awards being made.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lovely library. I'd never been in the library before.
Mm-hmm. So the last trip you had here was back in '96?
Well, it was 98.
Mhm.
We stopped also.
What were some of the things that you did as children? When you were going to school, there were certainly hangouts in certain places that you like to frequent.
Well, living on Stebbins Avenue was a dirt road,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a septic system and all, and there was never anything very much built up. But we kids got together and we played all the usual games, Simon Says and Kick the Can, and we would play hide and seek, and it was very rural, and everybody had a good time,
Mm-hmm.
but every mother knew where we were.
How about Quirks? Were you over there too?
Oh yes, we got
that
penny
was
candy down
penny
at Quirk's.
candy down
No,
at
we
Quirks.
we could walk over to the square, to Waverly
Yes.
Square, and get penny
But
candy
we couldn't cross
occasionally.
Route 22 without somebody watching us,
Some adult,
or
huh?
at a time when the traffic wasn't that bad.
You mean that was always noted to be a heavily trafficked area?
Well, in our parents' mind it was.
Do you remember when they were rebuilding it and they were planting all these sycamore trees along the...
No, I was probably gone by then.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the blacksmith down there,
Mm-hmm. Right at the point.
Hilliker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the last blacksmith, and my mother was very friendly with Flossie Hilliker, who was his daughter-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Those were very interesting times when you used to get the peddlers coming around.
Yes.
What were some of the peddlers that came to your neighborhood?
There were a lot of transients would come, and my mother, they had the house marked a certain way. We're very remote, and they had the house marked a certain way, and they would stop in. And my mother always, she never turned anybody down, but she fed them in the back steps. And she was very careful about who came in because there was no one else around.
Yeah.
But they were always very gracious, and they'd offer to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, these are the people that were just traveling through and
Yes,
probably needed a meal to tide them over.
that's right.
How about those that were selling things?
Oh, well, we had the rag man. My mother saved the rags, and they made rugs. And then there was the fellow who came, and he sharpened the knives.
This is before your sister's time.
Well, I can remember somebody coming and repairing pots and pans.
Yes, right.
The tinker.
That's right.
Yeah, that's just a word from the past. They don't hear that.
Right.
When you hear about tinker, these guys are playing around with different things.
Yeah.
But the tinker was more associated with the rural areas. When you couldn't afford to buy a new pot, you fixed the old one.
Right, but my mother always put those things aside, knowing that these men would come and repair them.
Any produce men, vegetable men?
I don't remember that. We used to come down to
Yeah, we.
people in the village who had nice, lovely gardens,
Yes.
vegetable gardens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where we go.
You were telling the story about the movie theater there, and how what was it? Your grandmother that was.
Yes, my.
Tell us that to our audience again.
Her name was Katerina Ungabila Becker, and she was from the old country, and she was made sure all her children, all her chicks were home at dark. And Walter had the movie going, and my mother and her next oldest sister, Lillian Castelluccio, and our cousin, Lillian Miller, and my brother, my uncle Oscar, the four of them palled around together. And they went to the movies one night, and it got to be dark, and they didn't come home. Evidently, whatever was showing, they were going to see it another time, a second time through. And my grandmother went down. She was kind of a formidable lady, rather heavy. And my mother said they got wind of her coming. They saw her coming, her shadow, and they all snuck. The four of them snuck out and went home. And to get in, my grandmother had told Walter that the children were there, and they had to come home, and she was there to get them. And she was very determined. So he let her go in without a payment or anything. And the four of them snuck home, and they were fed by my grandfather, and they went to bed. And quite a while later, Grandma came home, and she had been so fascinated. She had never seen the movies like that, and she was so fascinated she stayed.
I guess you got to be a regular down at the Lyric.
I don't know, but that was the story of her.
Yeah, it's hard to believe in this day and age learning about somebody that had never seen a movie.
Right.
Well, the age that we grew up, we had no television. We had not the conveniences that they have today. And I don't know if we weren't happier with the simple life and enjoying we used roller skates, and we went ice skating, and simple pleasures were so enjoyable to us. And now today, most of our grandchildren are never satisfied with anything. They're always looking to see what someone else
Do you
has.
find, too, that all the entertainment has a cost to it?
Yes.
They don't seem to play by themselves. They have to go here, there, and
Right.
everywhere.
Everything is
Used
too
to love-
organized.
We used to love games, board
And-
games.
Oh, we played board games.
Yeah.
My father told us how to lose.
Oh,
He had, my father's people originally came from Scotland, and he had his grandfather's checkers. And he taught my sister and I how to play. He gave us equal time, and he would teach each one of us, and then he would play against us. And then, even if Betty and I combined, we could never win him. But he told us, he showed us that you didn't always have to win. That was
To have
the
fun.
way life went, and we had just as much fun. It was only a game, and that's the way they taught values in those days.
What other game did you play besides checkers?
What else did
We had a lot of jigsaw puzzles.
Oh yeah, we did a lot of jigsaw puzzles.
But we
yes.
used to have magazines. My mother loved the movies.
Oh, yeah.
And every Saturday we went to, I think it was Mount Vernon, where they had the double feature, and we saw all the sequels.
Cereals,
Yeah,
all those
cereals,
cereals.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Maybe you'd get a dinner plate or something like that out of it.
Milk glass.
Premium.
If we were good, we went to the movies every week, and
So you must have gone to the Biltmore on Fifth Avenue.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that used. That's the movie that used to give out the milk glass
Milk
type.
glass and things like that.
Yeah, and all only on Wednesday nights.
We went to one a lot in Mount Vernon. I know my Uncle Oscar called it the Bunny, and I don't remember exactly where that one
I
was.
don't know.
Well, they had 5 movies in Mount Vernon at one time.
Yes.
You used to have the Lowe's, RKO, the Parkway, the Biltmore, and then there was one down on Sanford. I forgot the
We
name.
went to one across a bridge near where the electric light company was or something. I remember somebody going in there to pay a bill or something.
Yeah, that was on First Street.
Is that where it was? Yeah.
Now, this is a test.
Yes.
How much did they charge you to get into the Lyric Theater?
Oh, was it a nickel?
I don't
You
even
never went
remember.
there, did you?
Well, you see, you're before my time. It used to be 12 cents for me.
12 cents?
Inflation.
But those were some days, and then families did things together. Now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
one child is going here, the other one's going there, and it's tough to get them all seated down for dinner.
Yes, very difficult now.
Mm-hmm.
Or else they need to have the clicker and sit in the living room and watch eating while they're watching.
What were some of the stores you frequented on Main Street and also on Columbus Avenue?
Your classmate Milton Epstein, you was,
Yeah,
Oh,
Milton
he
Epstein.
just
yeah.
passed away recently.
yes, I know.
Nice,
And
nice.
The store on the corner was a Gristides green. It was
Yes.
painted
Mhm.
green.
Mhm.
We went in there, and Hinman's next door was was shoes, or did
Yeah,
he do
shoes.
photographs?
Shoes.
And then there was Mr. Bruno. Jack Bruno was in my class.
And how about the Army Navy store?
Yes, we went there. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was another store, Friedgen's.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
My mother was friendly with them, and there was Tretch and Cook. And then,
Where did you buy your needle and thread?
Oh, the 5 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, oh yes.
That was always popular. And in those days, you also had a lot of deliveries to the home, like the milkman.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
And in the wintertime, the milk would be frozen and the cream would be out of the bottle.
And who got to it first?
Well, the coffee drinkers or the cereal people got there.
It shows you how the life has changed. You used to get the bakery man come to the door, and also the milkman, and of course those days are gone now. They can't afford to do it. It's too costly.
We also had coal delivered because we have a coal
Yeah.
furnace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the Fuller Brush man used to come, and he was very chatty. And my father had retired at that time, and they made wine. We had grapes, no, we had cherries. And they made wine in the cellar, and he would come in and talk to my father, and they'd go down and look at it.
Mhm.
And my father was home alone, and there was no one around. He had been retired on disability, and this man was an outlet.
Mhm.
And they were very chummy, and the man was not in any hurry to make a big sale or anything. It was on
Yeah.
an entirely different level.
Yeah, but you know, that's powerful wine. You know, the commercial wine's water is added to it. You get one glass of that wine and send you reeling. Well, you know, it's been good talking to you and reliving some of the memories here in the village of Tuckahoe. And I understand you have a little reunion meeting going on a little later?
Yes, I'm going to meet Joe Yancey and Dottie Calabro and hopefully some others.
Who were some of the people that were in your graduating class?
Henry Norman.
Mm-hmm.
There were twins, Walsh twins, Fanny Santucci, Felicia Santucci, two Pagliacas, and Henry Norman's brother, Alice Circum, oh golly,
Cap was in there.
Cat Morris, Leona Hill. Oh, there were a lot of Elsie. The Quinns. We had brothers and sisters in our class.
Was that Guy Pagliaroli that was in your class?
No,
Or a sister?
Pagliacca.
Oh, Pagliacca.
Gene Pagliacca and his brother Michael. He was also in a class, and there were two Dorenzos,
Mm-hmm.
Nikki and Mikey, I guess. And then when we were in school, we had half years. Some started in September, and some started in January.
Uh-huh.
And the January, they would have started that year, and then we came in September. So they would already have been ready to graduate,
I
but that we
see.
didn't have graduation till June.
And
So
they'd have to
some of them
back
would
for it.
come back.
Were they missing a half year, or is that just the way the
That's
schedule of the
just
school
the way
was?
the schedule went. They came up from Immaculate Conception, and they came up from Main Street School. There were
Yeah.
two.
Now, was it like we had up in Eastchester where you graduated in the 9th grade, and then you also had another graduation in the senior year?
Yeah, but they didn't really have a big thing when you went from like the 9th grade in.
Yeah,
It was not a big thing. That's when I think Immaculate Conception came up, and they didn't blink an eye because they had different training, different
Yeah,
teachers.
yeah.
The nuns, I think, were a lot more demanding.
You could always tell a parochial...
Immaculate Conception, oh
You can
yeah.
always tell the parochial school students by looking at their knuckles.
Oh, no, Ann McNeil, who also taught here in Main Street School with our aunt, she had a handful of rulers in Tuckahoe High.
Yeah.
And if you did something wrong, you put your hands out, and you got it.
Unfortunately, those days are gone.
But it
I don't
wasn't
know
hard.
Yeah.
She got your attention.
Well, I had one that when we were suspect, she would throw the eraser at us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we had that, yeah.
Because if she hit us, we could be all white. If she missed, the guy behind me got it.
Well, if you misbehaved, then you had to stay after school and help her clean those erasers.
We had another one, too, that had a terrific right hand. The person that she wanted to hit was usually in the middle, and she'd make one swipe and hit 3 people.
Well, yeah, one thing that I didn't tell you, what the janitor here, Danny Myers,
Oh, sure.
he used to cut the grass out here in the front, and I had a little toy lawnmower. We lived in the Masonic Temple, and I used to come over with Danny and cut the grass. He was so kind, and his brother, Jimmy, wound up in my class. But the point of the story is that I left it, there was a tree over where I used to leave my lawnmower, and one day a little boy stole it, and I was heartbroken. And something happened to the little boy. He had an accident or something. And my mother always said, don't grieve over something like that. Something worse could happen. But Danny was great.
We've been reliving some memories here with the Parker ladies. And one is running off to I guess you're only about 5 minutes to get there. We're both going there to get to the reunion, and I want to thank you for taking some time out to talk to us and letting some of our listening audience know about how it was living back in those days. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time.
It's been a joy to be
Pleasure.
here.
Thank you.